Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show, everyone. We are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. Everyone, hey, welcome into the program. Today on the show, we have computer and technology news for the whole hour. And by the way, I want to announce something a little bit special, and that is, well, hey, I finally stopped being lazy. Yes, that's always a very, very good sign. And that means that, well, Computer America is finally up to date. You can catch all of our past episodes for the past 2 months. They're up on our website, wherever podcasts are heard, and of course up on YouTube as well. You can check all those out there. I try to upload them in order, and yeah, hey, we're back up and running. So we should, be back with the regular updates. Again, I apologize for the interruption. Yeah, we should be good to go. But anyways, everyone, computeramerica.com, that's where you'll find everything, past shows, future shows, all the shows, including, that's actually true. Also there, you'll find links to social media, links to the podcast. Of course, you can find us on anywhere where podcasts are heard. Simply search Computer America, and we should pop right up. Also, while you're there, check out reviews, articles, and more. And of course, everything there helps with Computer America. Just keep in touch, keep up to date. And of course, if you feel like you want to reach out and tell us something or talk about anything, hey, Computer America on all these social channels. Go ahead and do that. So, with all that being said, why don't we go ahead and get started with computer and technology news brought to you by Computer America. Here we go. All right, everyone. So I think that for our first story that we're going to do is going to be, how about we talk about, so many different stories, and I honestly do have a lot of stories today that that we can definitely touch on. How about one of the biggest ones that I think was actually this one, where AT&T and WarnerMedia. If you didn't catch this one, well, hey, this one is pretty funny. If you don't recall, a number of years ago, I think it was back in, actually just scanning the article here, I believe it was back in 2019, 2018. I think it was 2018. AT&T merged with TimeWarner. And of course, from our point of view, although now it's actually making sense, from our point of view, this was a bad idea because, AT&T and TimeWarner together made the second biggest monopoly in terms of total houses with in terms of their internet service provider. And of course it took TimeWarner Media, of course, and there was just the fact that it was a $43 billion transaction. It was huge. It was, or actually I think that whole thing was 80 billion or something like that. Anyways, it was $108 billion, there we go, 3 years ago. And by the way, it was a bad idea because it merged two of the biggest ISPs into one mega conglomerate. And of course, the issue with that is that, hey, too much power in one company, and of course, less choice, less diversity. Although, of course, AT&T argued the opposite, that by combining, they had a better chance of competing against the other much larger companies, such as Comcast. Don't get me wrong, Comcast was and still is larger, but yeah, I don't really see how you get increased competition by taking the total number of national ISPs from 4 to 3. Still, regardless, there you go. And by the way, that did not lead to any lower prices or any better competition. Still, it looks like they got what they wanted because parts of it are going to be spun off today. And here's actually the fun part, where they're spinning off the Discovery assets and WarnerMedia. So Warner owned a number of other properties, television shows, movies, things like that. But all in all, they're retaining the internet service customers, which is honestly what I think what AT&T really wanted from the beginning, and they were willing to, kind of bite this bullet and just take the hit so that they can get the more customers on their services. Now, AT&T expects it to take a full year to complete the spinoff and combination with Discovery, saying that the transaction is anticipated to close mid-2022, and it's subject to approval by Discovery shareholders and customary closing conditions, including receipt of regulatory approvals. So regulators have to, of course, approve this, and don't get me wrong, I think that getting approval for mergers is much harder than getting permission to spin off and split. So I really don't see any way that this doesn't happen. But they mentioned a combination of cash, debt securities, and WarnerMedia's retention of certain debt, blah, blah, blah. Essentially, AT&T shareholders would receive stock in 71% of the new media company, and Discovery shareholders would own the other 29%, which goes to show the stake that each one has. So yes, this is an entirely new company that's going to be managing essentially the media, television, movie assets. And of course, AT&T would then retain everything having to do with 5G, cellular, ISP, broadband companies, all of it. And it would be completely uncoupled from, I guess, what AT&T would consider the more useless aspects of media, which is, the movies and the television. So they said that the as yet unnamed WarnerMedia Discovery Company will consist of over 100 brands, including HBO, Warner Brothers, Discovery, DC Comics, CNN, Cartoon Network, HGTV, Food Network, the Turner Networks, TNT, TBS, Eurosports, Magnolia, TLC, Animal Planet. Yes, this is Animal Planet as well. ID, and many, many more. So you can see this is going to be a very, very big player, and you can guarantee that when this is all said and done, yep, you guessed it, yet another streaming company will be born from this. So not only do you have Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, HBO Go, or HBO Now, Peacock, all these other services. Yep, you can guarantee that there's going to be another one as well. So with that being said, and really the big question is, if they spent $108 billion 3 years ago, to do this, why would they actually do this? And they mentioned that this comes 2 weeks after Verizon said it agreed to sell Yahoo and AOL for $5 billion, and the telecom giant's bets on media business has not paid off as they had hoped. Today's announcement is an admission that putting a large content asset with a wireless phone company had few long-lasting synergies. If anything, WarnerMedia became an albatross on AT&T's share, which have underperformed Verizon and T-Mobile since the deal's completion back in 2018. Essentially, yeah, they're not exactly the same vertical. I mean, yes, one is, AT&T is a content delivery platform, as in, they're an ISP. They get data to and from your phone, they get it to and from your house, but the actual content that you request inside your house, yeah, there's not that much interplay, although they were hoping that there would be more. And I would also imagine, thanks to net neutrality, they, being gone, they could have really hoped that they could offer a lot of these things at a discount free, not count against your data cap, things like that. But of course, with a new administration in place, and of course the looming question on is net neutrality going to be reenacted, has, I'm sure, been a big kind of pause on any kind of plans that they would have had. Now, the article goes on to talk about some things like layoffs and how they're talking about 45,000 jobs will be eliminated across both companies. And of course, 7,000 jobs of people putting fiber in the ground in exchange for a big corporate tax cut. So yeah, they claimed that they would bring in a lot of jobs, but in fact, they had actually cut about 45,000 jobs instead of creating about 7,000 like they had promised. Still, AT&T, to its credit, said that it had planned more fiber expansion, and it increased capital investment for incremental investments in 5G and fiber broadband, and that is shown by the last couple of years. They spent $21 billion in 2018, $19 billion in 2019, $15 billion in 2020, and they said they recently planned $17 billion in capital expenditures in 2021. Although, if all things hold true, it's looking like that's going to be closer to $13 billion instead of the $17 billion that they promised. Still, in March, AT&T said it plans to increase its fiber footprint to an additional 3 million customer locations. Here's the problem. Even though they're saying increase our fiber footprint to an additional 3 million customers, that doesn't mean that 3 million people who lack decent, good, reliable, affordable internet access are not going to get it. That means that, for all you could have, one form of fiber and they're going to, put it in the exact same service area. So instead of getting, 20 megabits or 50 megabits, you have access to 1 gig. But yeah, that does not mean new people get it. No, it's very difficult for these companies to it's very difficult for regulatory industries to actually monitor how many people get internet access by these big expenditures from these companies, even though as a taxpayer, and that's why I really drive this point home, as a taxpayer, a lot of these subsidies are given to the ISPs to provide internet service to people's homes. That is a big part of it because the government doesn't want to be the one to dig the holes and lay the lines. No, they want AT&T, Comcast, Verizon. They want them to do it. But of course, do they actually do it? That's a good question. Let's see. So AT&T has ignored rural areas in its previous fiber build-outs, and the 3 million new locations this year are all planned for metro areas. So actually, the article answered just what I was saying before. Those 3 million new places are not exactly unserviced. They are already serviced, but hey, they're going to get even more fiber where fiber is already laid. Real quick, before we wrap up this article, do stuff like this and then figure out why consumers don't like ISPs. Very true. There's a reason why when it comes to the top 10 most hated companies, and you'd think that'd be like, companies with massive industrial spill off, or you think that'd be companies, that are wreaking havoc on job markets and price fixing things. No, by and large, it's like a toss up between like Comcast and AT&T. The most hated companies in the country are usually ISPs, and it's no wonder. I think it's because people feel genuinely cheated by the service that they get in most cases, unless you live in some I would say ISP hotspots. But there you go. Again, we got a little distracted there, but the main point of that was that AT&T and TimeWarner are spinning off, and yeah, it's going to be a very big deal because a lot of your favorite content, including a lot of your favorite TV shows, even if you don't watch TV, are probably going to come together to a new streaming service, probably by the end of, or by middle 2022. There you go. Okay, so there's that story. Fun. How about we go ahead and move on to... Okay. Since we did this whole segment on cryptocurrency the other week, and, that was a lot of fun to talk about, everything from Dogecoin to Ether, I should say Ethereum and Ethereum Classic, and things like Bitcoin Platinum, which were flat-out scams. Well, I'm going to tie these two stories together because this article is talking about fear of missing out and, GameStop and crypto and how it's all related with artificial pump and dumps where, people with a lot of capital put it all into a cheap currency and then, sell it and leave the everyday individual, the people who are not in the manipulation side of it, they're the ones holding a useless asset. Now, that's inspired a whole new wave, and then we'll tie that into Tesla and Elon Musk denying that Tesla had actually sold all of its cryptocurrency, which, after it lost so much money, it would not surprise me whatsoever that the company promised to put in like $1.5 billion into crypto and start accepting cryptocurrency and not cash it out, like accept it and actually hold it. But yeah, when the prices dump that or go down that far, it's it's one of those things that Elon Musk has to talk to the board and shareholders and look at them and go, yeah, we put 1.5 billion in cryptocurrency and now we lost $400 million because the price went down and it's outside of our control. What do you do? So yeah, Elon Musk is stepping away from crypto, but not that far. And just real quick, so yet another paywall can see another side, though. It protects the shows from relying on ad income as if some companies get targeted by SJWs. Yeah, of course, more so than that, for just real quick, it's AT&T and TimeWarner, of course, kind of splitting. It's always been that TimeWarner has been a very difficult... it has been a very difficult company to kind of come to terms with because media companies just don't make that much money compared to internet service providers. Like, regardless of the pandemic, a lot of people are working from home. A lot of people are signing up for the services. That's all well and good. But at the same time, when people are struggling, one of the first things they do is cut unnecessary expenses. And one of those is cable television. You can't go to the movie theaters to watch TimeWarner Media. You can't, you don't subscribe to as many streaming services as you would. By and large, I think that AT&T was hoping that TimeWarner would be a much bigger deal on its media side, and it turns out, no, it was just not the case. They wanted, and again, what I personally think was that AT&T never cared about the media side, the show side, anything like that. AT&T only cared about increasing their footprint and taking TimeWarner cable customers, which at the time was, the fourth largest internet service provider in the country. So I honestly think that, after a couple of years, they honestly just did not create the jobs that they promised. They did not create the competition that they promised, and they're able to increase their footprint. And, it cost them a couple $1 billion, but in the long run, hey, they were able to pull off one of the largest mergers in U.S. history, which is probably, hard in its own right. So there you go. Okay, now back to this GameStop, fear of missing out. For those who don't know, yeah, GameStop keeps going up, keeps going down. I think a lot of people looked at the extreme cases of GameStop and they were like, oh, some people bought this at $4 and it shot all the way up to $360. I could have made so much money if I had done that. I could have made my 10,000% if I had heard about this fast enough. And so now people see that it's possible. And of course, the lovely, lovely romance stories of people making all this kinds of money. And of course, there was Doge, where Doge went from 0.0004 cents per coin, and through enough people putting money into it and hoping that it's the next moonshot, it's the next amazing coin that's going to be whatever. And to be fair, it went from 0.0004, 3 zeros to a 4, all the way up to like 70 cents. And when you do the math on that, yeah, it's also really, really impressive, the amount of gains that people saw. Now, unfortunately, though, well, a lot of people did not ride the train up, and now they're looking at this and going, I need another chance. I need another chance to make my money. Well, here you go. This is where scammers like to move in. And, this is where social media like Reddit and Discord really come into play. And this article walks you a little bit through, and this is actually from Wired, but it's rehosted on Ars Technica. But yeah, it kind of walks you through the idea of a pump and dump, where you pump up an asset and then you dump it for the people. Essentially, step one, for those who don't know, buy in early when the coin is low. Step two, convince other people to join you. The more the merrier, the bigger the potential gains as the price of the coin goes up. And step three, sell out before the price tanks. Get the timing right, and these groups promise, and you come out a winner and, of course, richer, and the losers are left holding the bag. What they don't say there, and it's painted in very nice letters, hey, you could be a winner. You just have to do it right. And if you do it wrong, yeah, you could mess up. But essentially, the losers, quote unquote, are people who are not in the Discord channels. They're not on Reddit. They're not they don't have their ear to the ground. They don't have access to the information that you do. And it's essentially you're stealing money from unknowing people. And you're holding, and I would say very much so, that Doge is a worthless asset. You are selling people a worthless asset and taking their money. You're redistributing their money on a massive scale. So crypto pumps have been on the rise for a few years now, and if you ever want to really dig into it and you want some light, fun reading, one of the biggest, I can say criminals, because he was found, he was a criminal in other regards. John McAfee, who of course, who started the McAfee antivirus suite, but of course has not been associated with a number of years. But yeah, he turned to, during his life of crime and his craziness, he turned to crypto pump and dumps, where he would, actually, behind the scenes, convince people to start coins, make coins, and say, hey, we'll advertise your coin, we'll build it up, we'll get a bunch of investors, we'll get our audiences to really follow and buy into this coin, and then when we say it behind the scenes, we're all going to sell out for the maximum possible, and then of course everyone else is left holding the bag. They're left with, again, this useless coin. And that's something that a lot of people have been doing it. They mentioned that the Wall Street Journal identified 175 quote-unquote pump initiatives, moving $825 million through 121 different crypto coins, most of them organized on Discord and Telegram. Since then, experts say it's only gotten bigger. Trade volume on crypto exchanges is surging, particularly less known coins that have no fundamental value outside of investing. Essentially, and we covered this during the crypto thing, some coins choose to solve a problem. Many other coins are just kind of copies and clones of existing coins that you can kind of say, this is Ben Coin, and Ben Coin is going to do Ben Coin things. Does it actually solve a need or fill a gap in the current ecosystem? No, but it's currently worth 0.1201 cents. And hey, if it goes up, all the way up to 0.10 zeros and 1 cent, you just made 100 times your money. And it's not hard. It only takes a couple $1 million for that investment to pay off. That is the kind of thing that this article is talking about. Convincing people to buy in for a little bit of money, $20, $100, $500, and then the people behind the scenes who are organizing this, once it gets some traction, once people start to see on these crypto exchanges that, hey, this coin over here is up 100,000%. I need to get in on this one. Once enough people buy into it, then the people who, first started that initial snowball, they sell out, they trigger a panic sell, everyone else is out, and yeah, a lot more people get hurt than make money on this. Now, according to moderators on 4 pump servers, a crop of new servers and social media pump accounts sprang up around the same time, with at least a dozen ripping off Wall Street Bet's name or logo. So, of course, they use existing communities and try to build off them and garner their reputation. So, they are, however, cashing in on Wall Street Bet's hype, advertising target gains of up to 500%. One of the servers has 83,000 members, saying, quote, many young adults and others all of a sudden became extremely interested in stocks and investing, and this later also gave the crypto community and cryptocurrencies a huge boost in popularity. So that's also the worst part. You are preying on people who don't know better. They're new. They're new to stocks. They're new to investing. And hey, what do you sell them? You trigger their gambling instinct and say, with $100, I can turn that into, $1,000, $10,000, $5,000 if you just give me $100. And that is what they're running into. Now, they mentioned that one Discord user goes by Alejandro. Alejandro was invited to his first crypto pump server in February. After making what he calls a good profit, which was about 170% off his initial investment, he created his own group. And it now has about 10,000 members. And of course, who tune in every couple of days for a new pump signal, a server-wide message announcement which coin they're pumping. The gains, he says, comes from people who are not in the Discord. So essentially, the people in the know, in the Discord, put in the initial money, and they are going to sell at the right time. The money does not come out of thin air, does not come from increased productivity, does not come from increased sales. It comes from people who are, afraid of missing the next Dogecoin, afraid of missing the next GameStop. Those people, of course, then miss out because they don't get the they don't get the signal to sell at the right time. They say that once outsiders see a sudden rise in an unexpected coin, they will buy shares. Meanwhile, the members of my group will sell their shares to the outsiders for a good chunk of profit. Of course, he's saying shares, but he means, really the coins. Now, with that being said, Discord is a perfect vehicle for these pumps as a semi-public forum that allows users to advertise servers broadly, ping users about coordinated buy-ins, and discuss strategy. And of course, a longtime Discord user, the author, saying that anecdotally, he's seen an enormous uptick in activity. So 8 of the groups have more than, they mentioned a number of crypto pump groups, 20,000 members, 80,000 members. These things are getting huge. Now, a few seconds before they announce which coin to pump, there would be a huge spike, he says. It looked like someone in the know bought up a lot of the coin beforehand, hugely boosting their potential to earn big by selling early. And of course, a number of people never had that chance. So what they're saying even there, before the coordinators announced which coin they're going to pump, again, imagine, all it takes is like $1,000. Let's say you have $1,000, you put it into something that is infinitesimally small, 0.1201 cents. And then before you even announce the pump, you buy $1,000 of that. And then you announce the pump, you are even making money on the people that you are helping coordinate. And of course, making more money on top of it after people buy in there. So with all that being said, crypto pump schemes fall into a gray legal area, saying that there's a lot of debate about whether we see cryptocurrencies as securities or not. And that's from a university professor at Chapel Hill, North Carolina, saying that there's no clear regulation. And he says that it's time for that to change. According to his research, these currencies' liquidity and value increased in crypto exchanges where pump and dumps are banned. Saying not only does the market get better, it would be more challenging for the tiny fraction of people organizing these pumps to take advantage of others. Essentially what he's saying there is that cryptocurrencies, if you actually believe, like if you aren't just in the business to scam people, if you actually believe in the technology behind it, in the cryptocurrencies themselves, they get better with regulation because random people don't randomly lose all of their money to a random coin. If there's regulation preventing these scams, these schemes, and people are left with just, basing their investments on, is this thing worth it? Is this an actually valuable product? Well, there you go. You are left with exactly that. So with that being said, the crypto rush is also inspiring more traditional forms of fraud. Last week, one group pulled off a $2 million scam, and they say that it told its 340,000 Telegram subscribers it would be pumping its own coin, Wall Street Bets Finance, which is the name of a coin. They said that the coin didn't exist yet and was allegedly a pre-sale. Users sent money to a crypto wallet believing they would receive the Wall Street Bet Finance coin, but there were never any coins. By the way, if anyone ever says, send this money to this wallet, this happens all the time. Like, I bet you if I went on Twitch right now, Twitch is actually a very popular one to do this. Usually in, browse, just chatting, it's usually not too far from the top where they have a video of Elon Musk talking about any random thing. His neural program, self-driving, Teslas, it really does not take much for people to, just see Elon Musk's face. And when they do that, they say, oh, Elon Musk is giving away $100 million in Bitcoin. Send 0.005 Bitcoin to this wallet, and Elon Musk will send you back double of what you sent in. Scams like those, very popular. And again, we're seeing hundreds of millions of dollars just being stolen and scammed. You got to be careful out there. You got to be careful with what it is that you do. So let's see. And with that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap that one up. But since we are talking about Elon Musk, I did want to touch on that one real quick. And that is, Tesla. I'm not even going to switch screens. I'm just going to jump right over to this one. Tesla. Okay. Elon Musk clarifies that Tesla has not sold any of its Bitcoin. This came last Sunday, where they mentioned that Bitcoin is down 20% since Elon Musk started posting about cryptocurrencies. And of course, it's a lot of people are mad at Elon Musk because they see him as someone with a lot of money, a lot of capital, and they saw him as essentially using Tesla to manipulate the market, to really increase the value of cryptocurrencies, buy in, start accepting them, getting that mainstream approval, getting that recognition that many people saw that many people saw was kind of the breaking out point for cryptocurrency, that it finally made it mainstream. And then, of course, Elon Musk, went on Saturday Night Live, said that Dogecoin was a scam. Tesla stopped accepting cryptocurrency. The Bitcoin holdings were, kind of frozen for Tesla. And, this all happened when a particular person named Mr. Whale, Bitcoiners are going to slap themselves next quarter when they find out that Tesla dumped the rest of their hashtag Bitcoin earnings, saying that with the amount of hate Elon Musk is getting, I wouldn't blame him, and essentially saying indeed. So as if implying that Elon Musk had liquidated Tesla's Bitcoin holdings. But today, come to find out, he had not, or so he claimed. Of course, here's the thing. He has to file that with the SEC. Of course, we're going to find out more about that during the next quarter's earnings, but still, it's... The company later said it registered a net gain of $101 million from sales of Bitcoin during the quarter, helping it boost its net profits to record high in the first quarter. However, Musk seems to have reversed course in recent weeks in favor of Dogecoin, the meme-inspired cryptocurrency. And now, with that being said, Elon said that they also suspended vehicle purchasing using Bitcoin, rapidly increasing use of fossil fuels for Bitcoin mining. That was, I really feel, his way of saying, we're not happy with cryptocurrency, so we're going to get out of the market. And the best way to say that is going to be, we don't like the emissions, greenhouse gases, environmental impact of cryptocurrency, which, don't get me wrong, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, a lot of these have zero consideration for the environment. Bitcoin in particular uses, if you just took Bitcoin mining in particular, just Bitcoin mining, it would use more electricity than Argentina, I believe is the last one I heard. It's been climbing ever since. It uses a lot of unnecessary electricity just to artificially convolute its blockchain services. There's a lot of waste there that doesn't have to be there. But to say that that's why, suddenly Elon Musk is not for it, I would say that there's a number of factors at play here. Now, either way, Musk is also pushing further into Dogecoin. His aerospace venture, SpaceX, announced last week that it will accept Dogecoin as payment to launch Doge 1 mission to the moon. He endorsed, his endorsements have helped push the price of the coin, but of course, ever since he said it was a scam on SNL, the prices have tanked and they've been down ever since. Honestly, I feel like Elon Musk is a memer. I feel like he likes to meme. He likes to have jokes. He likes to be on the in with the internet, the internet. And by and large, I don't know. I just don't feel like he's manipulating that much, but I do believe, because he's one of the most public figures of this whole cryptocurrency movement, I do believe he is influencing public perception of cryptocurrency. I honestly do not believe he's using Tesla assets to manipulate the market, but I do believe he is manipulating sentiment just by being who he is. So there you go. I think that's about all we're going to do with that one. Let's go ahead and move on to another topic. How about? Okay, this one affects us a little bit. So obviously we have the live video portion on Twitch. You can find us, twitch.tv/Computer America. But hey, a lot of people listen to us on IRN, and we thank you for that. If you listen to us there, we love that. And then of course, find us on the podcast, all that good stuff. Now, why bring this up? Twitch.tv is lowering subscription prices. This is pretty cool because, this has long been a thing on Twitch where the exchange rate for here in the US, no big deal. $4.99 is $4.99. No one really converts USD out of USD, and yeah, it's not that big a deal. But then when it comes to other countries where the exchange rate is not so favorable, $20 here would be pretty comparable to $20 maybe in Russia, but at the same time, let's say the exchange rate is like, I don't know, 5 to 1, whatever. I don't know what, the Russian currency to American currency is. Let's say it's 5 to 1, but you still had to pay $4.99. So that essentially means that you are paying, if that exchange rate is 5 to 1, you're paying 5 times as much in your local currency for the same product that someone in America gets for, a quarter. So there's always been this game, and it's within video games and a lot of other subscription services that, you have to adjust for your local market. $5 is not $5 is not $5. It's going to really depend. Well, Twitch is finally coming to the rescue, and the move starts with Mexico and Turkey. And Twitch is lowering subscription prices in most countries to reflect cost of living. Now, the price drops will start May 20th in Mexico. So that one will be about 48 pesos per month, or about $2.40 in Turkey, which will be about 10 turkeys, whatever the Turkish currency is, 10 whatever Turkish currency is, which equates to about $1.20 here in the United States, with many countries in Africa, Asia, Europe, Latin America, and Middle East getting their cuts sometime in the third quarter of 2021. The Amazon-owned company said that this would make it easier for viewers to support their favorite creator. The percentage of active users with subscriptions in Asia and Europe is about half of what you see in North America, and about 80% lower in Latin America. In theory, this helps streamers in most regions by boosting their overall subscription rates. They mentioned that Twitch is aware that this could lead to a less take-home income for broadcasters. It's promising to cover all the channel's baseline, that is typical subscription revenue for 3 calendar months, and gradually lower those payments over 9 months to ease people with the new pricing structure. Streamers who outperform their average during the relevant period will get the higher value, but they'll still be eligible for support from Twitch if numbers drop later. So essentially, let's say you have 10,000 subscribers. And right now you're getting $4.99 a month, and of course exchange rates, so on and so forth. People pony that up. It's all well and good. Now you have 10,000 subscribers from Mexico, and you are getting $2.40. Half of that goes to Twitch, half of that goes to you. And of course, some people see revenue shares of 60-70%, them 30% to Twitch. Right off the bat, just a snap of a finger, your revenue gets cut in half because the majority of your subscribers are from Mexico. They're promising to keep your, what you would have earned for 3 months and then gradually decrease that over the following 9 months so that people can get used to the new subscribers. Amazon, I suppose, is hoping that, well, if before only 10,000 people from Mexico could subscribe because those are the people who could afford the woefully outdated payment structure, maybe now you will get 20,000 subscribers because 20,000 people can now afford the new cheaper price. So there you go. They said that this might not thrill hosts that live in affluent countries but have a large number of subscribers elsewhere. However, Twitch is clearly betting that the volume of new subs will make up for the cost of lower subs. So there you go. And lower income, but of course more access to subscription. And obviously Twitch benefits from that because one of the biggest numbers that they can increase, it's not even so much subscribers, but it's increasing retention. And it's been proven that if you are subscribed to a channel, you are much more likely to go back to that channel and watch again and again and again. Especially if you have a continuous subscription, there's even kind of that fear of, kind of missing your subscription. Not, if you have 12 months subscribed, not hitting your 13 months, your 14 months, there's a bit of a routine that you can kind of build up with these. So I'm sure that if nothing else, I completely agree that not every country should be held to America's $4.99 standard. I mean, hey, $4.99 here is not the same as $4.99 in let's say Brazil. Definitely make it pretty equivalent for whatever country you happen to be in, and I think a lot of people would agree with that. So there you have it. And again, I hope that leads to more subs, and I hope that leads to more people being happy with their Twitch experience, because it really is a fun platform, to watch people and participate in communities that you enjoy. It actually is a lot of fun. So there you go. Exactly, a gallon of gas. Okay, how about this? A little bit of a tease, and I think that they've actually announced it since this article was, kind of published. If you subscribe to Apple Music, if you count yourself as one of the few, one of the proud, the Apple Music subscribers, well, Apple Music has a little bit of a surprise for you. Lossless audio. And lossless essentially means high fidelity or high res. This is people who don't have a 10 ear like myself and can't tell the difference between, really low bit rates and really low res music and high res music. Some people say that high fidelity, high res music is something to truly behold. But personally, again, I have such a 10 ear, it doesn't even have an effect on me. To everyone else, though, Apple will be releasing lossless music to their subscribers. And, well, in addition, they mentioned that they have a designer discovered a pair of logos within the Apple website that show both lossless and high-res lossless branding. These could be used as badges for songs encoded with lossless audio streaming. And they mentioned that references to lossless, Lossless, in case people don't know what I'm saying, and high-res lossless music, I'm saying that too much, were discovered yesterday within the source code of Apple Music. Think about that. You have a service that is so important that people just, comb through your source code just looking for hints at what you might do. Weird. Still, those are found next to Dolby Atmos references, meaning that Apple Music may include not only higher quality music, but 3D surround sound streaming as well. All that jibes with the past rumors indicating that Apple is going to launch new music features and that the lossless and Dolby Atmos references were previously seen on the iOS 14.6 beta code. And again, I think since this article was, Apple Music, I think since this was released, I think that Apple has announced it. So yeah, here's the actual press release from Apple itself. The next generation of sound on Apple Music is coming to subscribers in June 2021 at no additional cost. And that's the fun part. This is not a next tier. It's not like you have to pay another $5 to get this. Anyone who's currently an Apple Music subscriber and anyone who subscribes to Apple Music in the future will have access to that music. And you can see here, there's an image of an iPhone. And if you zoom in here a little bit, it gets a little bit blurry, of course. But you see Dolby Atmos, Lossless, and yeah. So you can easily identify which ones are which. Now, with that being said, and again, this coming directly from Apple, they mentioned also spatial audio with support for Dolby Atmos on top of it. Yeah. If you are, and that's something that Apple has been missing, been behind. Amazon has their own high fidelity music that they've been doing for quite a while now. And Tidal, which was, I think, a more appropriate competitor to Apple, has been doing high fidelity music, high res music for quite a while. They mentioned that Apple Music's lossless tier starts at CD quality, which is 16-bit at 44.1 kilohertz, and goes up to 24-bit at 48 kilohertz, and is playable natively on Apple devices. For the true audiophile, Apple Music also offers high-res lossless, which can go all the way up to 24 bits, 192 kilohertz there. There's a reason why we don't offer Compute America in that, because during our hour-long program, I actually tried recording at some of those, and you get, I think, file sizes. Like currently, our show sizes are anywhere from 300 to 500 megabytes per episode, and at those sizes, I think we were getting anywhere from 3.5 to 3.5 to 6 gigs an episode. Easily 10 times the size. So music makes perfect sense. Podcast, not so much. But still, hey, no additional cost and value added to Apple Music, which is good because I think that the value there was already pretty lacking. So they definitely needed it. Okay. Let's go ahead and continue on here. Let's see, we did that one. Don't want to talk about that one. How about an update? This one should be quick, hopefully. Last week, there was a fuel shortage. Hey, who knew? Over on the East Coast. And that had to do with a pipeline that was being held ransom by a cyber attack. And of course, the funniest thing I found about that was that the cyber criminals, the people who committed the crime, they were like, oh crap, we did not mean to cause this much trouble. We wanted to cause a little bit less trouble and earn, money another way. But behind the scenes, it seems they were, they were happy with the negotiations that they were able to have. U.S. fuel pipeline paid hackers $5 million in ransom. And by the way, the amount of money that the economy lost during that probably pales in comparison. This $5 million pales in comparison to the disruption that this thing caused. They said that the 5,500 mile pipeline usually carries 2.5 million barrels a day, and the closure saw supplies of diesel, petrol, and jet fuel tighten across the U.S., with prices rising, an emergency waiver passed on Monday, and a number of states declaring an emergency. This, they mentioned that. Let's see. So cybersecurity firms told the BBC that DarkSide operates by infiltrating an organization and stealing sensitive data. Typically, a day later, the hackers will make themselves known, announcing that they have encrypted all the data in the network and are prepared to leak it to the internet and delete it if they are not paid a ransom by a certain deadline, which, by the way, seems to be an MO lately, which is steal a bunch of data and then threaten to release it. There was another hacker group that is threatening the New York Police Department, or is it like the Boston Police Department? Anyways, hackers are holding up police departments and threatening to leak like officers' addresses and, people in witness protection programs and things like that. Criminals are just seeing the value in data and not even holding or selling it to the right person, but just ransoming it and, sending it out to people who, sending out to everyone. They're seeing the value in that. Now, with that being said, so $5 million, where'd that come from? Probably up here. Major U.S. fuel pipeline. They reportedly paid $5 million in ransom following the cyber attack. They suffered a ransomware cyber attack over the weekend and took it offline for 5 days. CNN, the New York Times, Bloomberg, and Wall Street Journal all reported a ransom was paid. So, yeah, if that many people know about it, that's officially what they paid. On Friday, Japanese consumer tech giant Toshiba said its European division in France had been hit by the same cyber criminal gang. Toshiba, not good. So, and I guess this article branches off a bit from there. Let's see. So, trying to see if there's any other information we really want to put out here. Let's see. So the potential silver lining in this case comes from reports that even after Colonial paid the hackers, the criminals were so slow to help the company that the pipeline staff got to work on recovery themselves. The DarkSide hacker crew can no longer claim that they can restore victim services quickly, and this may make other question whether or not to give into their demands, which is, that's totally fair. I hate it when I hear about cyber criminals, getting away with that much information and, getting away with those big ransoms because it encourages that same group to continue to hack and, be a nuisance to many other companies, but it also encourages copycats and other groups to spring up and do the exact same thing. So they weren't able to flip a switch and restore service, which again means that, Colonial Pipeline was able to get itself back up and running. By and large, we've said it 1,000 times on this show. If you want to protect yourself from anything like this, make sure you have backups of your entire system. And then the bigger part, make sure that you can actually implement those backups. Make sure they are server-wide, and hey, while you're at it, make sure that permissions are permissions and only the correct people can access the correct information. So have a plan in place, be able to implement that plan. That's a big part. And backup. Super important. Exactly. Three rules of data: backup. 4 backups for the 3 rules. Absolutely. So that's the best way to protect yourselves. And I'm sure that with this and many other services, we'll start keeping, hopefully, better cybersecurity practices and, backups. Okay. How about we do Waymo just real quick? If you're wondering about the current state of self-driving cars, it's not going well. At least not for Waymo. Don't get me wrong, they can probably keep it between the lines, they can drive cars, they can guide these things to do what they're going to do, but check this one out. Waymo is a little off-put. It's a little scared of, traffic cones, which is not a good thing because traffic cones are pretty common. So a self-driving taxi has blocked a road in Arizona after becoming confused by a lane closed off with traffic cones. The Waymo vehicle reportedly drove away from roadside assistance, dispatched within minutes of the car becoming stuck. Passenger Joel Johnson documented the experience on his YouTube channel, and the Alphabet-owned company said that it was an unusual situation and the taxi had operated safely throughout the journey. So essentially it brought itself to a complete stop, pulled itself off to the side of the road, said that we're stuck, we don't know what to do, there's cones in the road, oh my god. And then as soon as roadside assistance pulled up to unstick the vehicle, or get the vehicle unstuck, I guess it snapped back into motion and drove away from roadside assistance. Pretty funny. So they mentioned that it shows the taxi trying to turn right onto a 4-lane road, but there are several traffic cones in the right lane of the road, causing it to stop. A few minutes later, the taxi moves into an open left lane and then repositions itself so it blocks the road entirely. Not good. Then when roadside assistance arrives, the taxi starts driving away. A few moments later, the taxi stops a second time after being confronted with traffic cones again, and then drives off once more as a roadside assistance approaches. Still, they mention occasional mistakes. Mr. Johnson regularly posts videos about his experience in Waymo taxis and defended the technology, saying, "I'm just being honest with what I see. How can I prove the technology is great if I hide when the occasional mistake happens?" And those who don't know, these Waymo taxis, they're up and running on actual roads, and that's kind of the cool part, is that self-driving cars are here. And admittedly, they're operating in ideally perfect conditions, sunny, daylight, light traffic conditions. It's operating in ideal conditions, but it's still, here and there, not, it has its occasional mistakes, as he kind of mentions. With that being said, they have a quote here saying that this Waymo performance with cones is the exception to the rule. People are ignoring my other 53 videos where it works just fine. And that's the cool part, is that, Waymo just works. And isn't that what we all want? Self-driving cars that just drive. So there you go. And again, yeah, exactly. No one got hurt. The car operated safely the entire time. It was just scared and confused, as any self-driving robot would be. Last one of the day. I think we're only going to have time for this one. Samsung. You know the one with the phone. If you're watching the video portion, you can see there. Yeah, you can see that there. Well, Samsung teases its next generation of flexible displays, and you really have to take a look at this thing because it is super, super cool. Imagine like not even like a trifold wallet. I don't even know how to describe this thing. Essentially, there are 3 panels, all connected with hinges, and the display inside of it. It can of course fold up to a fraction of its size, or fold out like some kind of accordion map. But the inside is a flexible OLED panel. It's pretty cool. So Samsung used its first mover advantage in foldables to establish a lead in the fledgling category. And of course, a lead in that category means, no one else is really competing. But still, today we're getting a look at the future foldable that it has in store, including a larger flexible display for phones and tablets. And they showcased the prototypes at Display Week 2021 event. And according to the concept, it has a double folding OLED panel because, hey, if you can make the OLED panel fold, why just fold it once? Fold it 2, 3, 4 times. That's the fun part of it. And they mentioned that when unfolded, the screen has a maximum size of 7.2 inches, which puts it between the main display of the Galaxy Z Flip and the Galaxy Fold 2. So between 6.7 and 7.6 inches. Dishing the fold, Samsung also showed off a slidable OLED panel that extends horizontally. As a sign of the innovation in the space, we've already seen similar devices with slide-out rollable screens. So essentially, think of like a scroll. Like, again, the one that Samsung teased is almost like an accordion map being folded. And they also show one that kind of pulls out, like think of it like a blind, kind of going to the right of your phone. Let's see. So with mentions of that, so indicating that we might soon get a folding Galaxy tablet, Samsung unveiled a 17-inch foldable panel at the event with a 4:3 aspect ratio. The display is larger than the 13.3-inch screen in Lenovo's ThinkPad, and you can see that here. So maybe for productivity and on the go, you can have a display that folds, at least to half its size. And that's something, that could be something that people could be interested in. Finally, last thing here, Samsung also offered a glimpse at its under panel camera, which you can see here in the last image. I can kind of zoom in here a little bit. No pinhole, no notch, no dead pixels, no nothing. It looks like one smooth screen, and underneath those pixels, you have a camera. And that is the technology I think a lot of people are waiting for. Again, the underscreen camera tech is already available in the wild in ZTE's Axon 20 5G phone, and supposed to be coming to Xiaomi handsets this year. With the rest of the industry piling in on foldables, Apple, Samsung is also showing no signs of slowing down. So, hey, some really cool technology. I hope to see, the leaders really do it. We've seen it in some more innovative companies, but hey, gotta see it hit mainstream. Everyone, thank you for tuning into the show. We'll catch you here next time. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you.